our next guests want to turn New Orleans into a high-tech hub. Get that. Ken Purcell is the founder and CEO of ISeatz, which provides customized online travel and entertainment products. And also Jimmy Treuting is a longtime tech entrepreneur who founded New Orleans' first internet service provider, and he's also currently the CEO of Dukky, which helps companies boost their response rates to direct marketing campaigns. Essentially, it's direct marketing, right, to through the internet versus sort of like getting it in your postal mail, right?
It's a software that attaches the direct response marketing that allows the sharing of those direct response campaigns, so it proliferates and increases return on investment.
Okay. All right. Well, Jim, Ken, I mean, you know, we're here today because we're looking at entrepreneurs in New Orleans, and what better place than here? I'm told that there's about 5 hubs to sort of, you know, grow small businesses. For technology, though, what's the difficulty here in New Orleans?
I'll take a shot at that. I think there are 2 things. One is a perceived lack of resources. Companies not moving here because they believe they can't find enough talent.
Right.
And I said perceived specifically. We don't have a problem finding talent or recruiting talent. And then the other, I think, is probably a lack of access to free-flowing capital. But I think we're all faced with that right now.
Well, perceived, but I mean, we heard all these reports right after Katrina that half the population left the city, and you've only got, you haven't returned to those levels yet. So is that really perception, or is that reality in some ways?
Well,
Jim, you want to take a stab?
I think it's a perception too, because I think it's never been easier with the right idea, with the right game plan, to raise funds. And for the first time in probably the last 20 years, we have the ability to get talent from other cities. I put up a rec to hire a high-level VP of sales last week. I'm getting resumes from Austin, North Carolina, New York, California. The standard of living here, it's much cheaper. You don't have to pay $1 million for a 2,000 square foot house in New Orleans. So you're actually seeing, you know, intelligence in the students from the universities. There's 10 universities within 100 miles of New Orleans. So we're trying to keep that there. You see a new mayor coming in with a new mindset on bringing business here. You think we have one of what I think is the best governors in the country.
Right.
And the mindset now has just changed. Is how do we induce companies to come here and build?
Ken, you actually, I'm reading a quote from one of the interviews you've done, is that you said that, you know, you wanted to be a good redneck.
Yeah.
You wanted to stay here and build your business. You left and went to New York, but you came back.
Yeah, I during Katrina, right the day before, I said, you know, I'm going to be a redneck and I'll never leave. And like many people, I stayed. I wished I would have left, but then I came back about 2 years later, moved my company's headquarters back from New York to Manhattan to New Orleans, and it's the best decision I've ever made. And
you've built your company from what was like $1 million revenue about like 6 years ago or something like that, and now it's like $30 million now, right? Yeah. We've have last year we finished up the year with about $40 million in total throughput through the system. So we've been blessed the last few years. Jim, infrastructure here, though, a lot of concerns still about that?
I don't think so. I don't think that was damaged. That was probably the first thing that came back was the infrastructure. Yeah. I mean, if you have connectivity to the internet and you have a telephone, you know, there's not necessary for a lot more infrastructure and technology companies. And I think, you know, the thing we were lacking for so many years was the good ideas and the people who wanted to grow businesses. And I think the infrastructure of the city, from a nonprofits helping businesses start up, the government, the agencies, it's a lot more resources for startup businesses now, and the money's coming in now, so that the access to capital's improved. Right, so maybe a symbol or a significant a symbol of really sort of money coming back all over the country, essentially, and also flowing in here to New Orleans. Thank you so much. 2 tech entrepreneurs with us, Ken Purcell of ISeatz and also Jim Treuting of Dukky.com.